Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Saturday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. Hope each and every one of you are doing great. And I hope you're having a great weekend and have had a great time over the last week. I moved. I'm in a different place. That's why you haven't heard from me. I upped my life and I moved it. So I've been busy, but now here I am and I'm back. So what's up? Hopefully things are going good. I know, times haven't been easy for anybody at all lately, whether it's economically or just your mental health or whatever. Times have been tough. But this story today, one of the craziest killings I've ever heard of. And it's just random, out of the blue, somebody who just kind of snaps, right? And that's why I'm speaking on mental health, because it is a real issue. And unless somebody notices or diagnoses this before somebody has one of their breaks, who knows what can happen? Because life can get difficult. Life can get hard. And it just is what it is, Sometimes it just is what it is. So, anyways, today we're going to talk about Vincent Li. I think that's his name, L-I. The man is originally from China. I saw that he went to school in Wuhan, but moved to Canada and was living out in Alberta and eventually moved to Edmonton. Now, the crazy story about this is the guy's like a computer software engineer in China. And when he came over here, he was doing all kinds of things, like working with a church, for instance, and eventually becoming a forklift driver. No criminal record, nothing like that. And he had had mental health episodes in the past. Before he ever became a citizen of Canada, he had mental health episodes, but they still made him a citizen. And the crazy thing about this story for me is just how it ended, right? How crazy it is that I did some of the time that I did for like stuff that would be considered petty crime, right? Compared to this dude and the fact, anyways, let's just talk about the story. So this man had lost his job. Apparently he had been fired from Walmart or something like that and was kind of going through it. Now he is a schizophrenic, psychotic, diagnosed, okay? But I'm not sure anybody was aware of that before the trial, before he was put in front of the limelight, as you would say. But man, the man bought a bus ticket, boarded a Greyhound bus, sat beside a young kid. Hold on. The kid's name was Timothy Richard McLean. They called him T, okay? 22-year-old kid. Probably hard-working kid, just trying to get his life in order. He's on the bus, he's tired, and he falls asleep. And what happens? This guy, Vincent, walks in, sits next to him on the bus, and just randomly, out of nowhere, casually, pulls out a jigga and just starts poking the man in his chest and in his neck. And apparently, the crazy thing about it was, there was full onlookers, a full bus of people seeing this happen. And you would expect somebody in that situation to be going through a rage, right? To be losing their mind, right? Snapping. Clearly something pushed them over the edge, but apparently the man was moving robotic. That's pure mental health. And I'm not trying to justify anything, but I've been around mental health. I've been around people who are true schizophrenics, and it can get real scary and real testy. Hallucinations and voices and all kinds of crazy things. And although it's not real, to somebody who's hearing it and seeing those things, how isn't it? If this is part of your existence, how is that not real? Everybody can tell you it's just this, it's just that, but you're hearing it and you're seeing it. I was in treatment with a dude who was a schizophrenic. Okay. This dude used to always see like a woman in the shadows, like an old woman. He could never see her face, but she would show up randomly. Like, he'd be sleeping in his room at night, and she'll be creeping out from behind the door, looking at him in his sleep. Or, you know, he'll wake up and see these things. Or she'll be out in a field looking at him from behind a tree. This is a real part of his existence. So apparently this dude was told by God to do this, that this person was a bad person. Now it gets crazier than this, okay? The man's poking him, dismembers him, decapitates him. Some guys tried to help. The bus driver apparently tried to help. A couple people tried to help. The man came at them with the jigga and they cut. It's a knife. 4 or 5 people should be able to overtake the guy. But, you know, you never know, because somebody in a bugged out homicidal rage, their strength, their power is probably a lot stronger than you would think. So who knows? Maybe they just... I guess it's hard to put your life on the line for somebody you don't know, right? But I would feel messed up being there and not doing whatever I could to stop it, you know. But anyways, so the man peeled out the man's eyeballs, brother. Peeled out his eyeballs and ate them. And started eating different parts of the man's body. He was on this bus for 24 hours. Tried to jump into the driver wheel and take off. Yeah, that's happening. They just shut the system off. They have anti-theft and security systems on buses where they just disarm the vehicle. You can't use it anymore, right? So he tries to drive away, it doesn't work. Then the man tries to jump out the fucking window and boogie. They mace him or whatever. Pop, 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 pop. I bet you they beat him down. Pop, 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 pop. Beat him down. When they catch the man, he has body parts in his pockets. He has chunks of the man in his pockets. Imagine what you must be going through up here. The things you must be thinking in your mind to make you think something like this is okay. And to make you comfortable enough, even in the middle of the day, like in public, doing something like this. You have to be off your fucking rocker, right? Because even a certified killer, who's like a hitman or something like that, sure, he may cut somebody up, but he ain't going to be doing it in front of people and then chomping on a couple gushy eyeballs. That's not what he's going to be doing. So the man ends up getting arrested. And at his trial, obviously, his lawyers claim innocence, not guilty, by reason of insanity. And he clearly won that, because you have to be insane to even consider doing the things that he did, right? But the crazy part is this. In only a matter of time, the man's back on the street. 6 years, the man was back on the street. No conditions. Think about that. I had a 5-year, 9-month, 1-day sentence for one Bert and Ernie. For one. 2, actually. But 1 plus 1 on a violation, okay? This man does 6 for... It shows you where the system has got it wrong, man. Where they got it wrong. You know, clearly this dude wasn't responsible because of his insanity, right? But if by reason of neglect, say, somebody loses their life because of you, you didn't intentionally do anything. You didn't want that to happen. You maybe were uneducated, you didn't understand what you were doing, maybe mental health is involved. You're gonna get time, right? But this dude, 6 years, doesn't that sound crazy? I don't know, it sounds crazy to me. You know, I'm not hating on anybody. Live your life. Whatever happens, happens. But to me, just what I've been through and the consequences that I've had, it's crazy to me. Obviously, I share my stories with you guys so you don't have to go through these things yourselves. If I could snap my fingers and nobody's in trouble, nobody's addicted, nobody goes through any of that stuff. That's what I do, but that's not a reality, especially in 2022. It's crazy out here. Ribs is touching, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes that can land you in the can, and that's what I'm here for, man. My stories and my information will help you have some kind of an understanding if you're going in, what to expect, so you don't mess up the chi for everybody who's there. And if you're not, if you're just fighting a case or something, to understand what it is that you're about to go through. That's what my videos are for. And to show people that change is possible. It's always possible. Look at this story. Apparently the man has zero issues if he just takes his medication, right? How can you ever be sure that somebody's not going to go off? I don't know if there is supervision or constant maintenance or what, but it shows change is possible. So never give up. It's just not worth it. Do not give up. Not for anybody, despite what anybody tells you, because people are going to tell you to give up. I remember coming up, man. Trouble, 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 trouble. People telling me, you can't do it. You are a write-off. There's no hope for you. I heard that for years and years and years. And yes, my life is not perfect. But here I am. Here I am. Free man. Living my best life, especially considering my past and the shit that I've been through and the trauma and the addiction and everything that goes with the hard life I lived. Here I am. If I can do it, you can do it. And if Vincent can do it, you can do it. So do it. Don't wait for anybody to help you, because that ain't going to happen. There is help there if you're motivated and you go get it. But nobody's going to come with the magical answer to change your life. You have to be focused, assertive, and ahead of the game, like you're playing chess, not checkers. You have to stay on top of things. And sometimes you may have to even do things you don't want to do, like cut off friends, people, places that just offer too much temptation or too much risk and possibility for you to go back to that old life. Don't do it. But back to this story, right? Mental health is crazy. It can put you in some dark, dark places. And I've been there, you know. There's been helpers to get me there. I don't typically have those issues if I'm straight, right? But people have breaking points. And this story is the perfect example of that. Somebody you would have no idea that these thoughts were running through him, and this was a risk from a person like this. And especially the way he did it, to just chop suey somebody on a Greyhound in front of an audience and then chew on some eyeballs. Like, you got to be out of your goddamn head. And I honestly feel sorry for anybody who lives in a place like that. Why do they live in a place like that? What kind of upbringing was there? Was there abuse and a lot of hidden and buried trauma? Who knows? But to live in fear all the time, because that's what schizophrenics live in. They live in fear. I knew a dude that was in treatment with me, and he was in there for fracturing his father's skull, and not almost killing him, but putting him in critical condition, basically. And for what? Using meth, right? Loses his mind, schizophrenic, psychotic, diagnosed, starts seeing his dad as the devil. Horns literally grow out of his father's head. He ends up smashing his father's head. It's a horrible thing. But How horrible is it to live with that kind of stuff? How horrible is it to live with visions and hallucinations and voices in your head all the time? So the bigger issue is doing something for people and creating better programs and better systems so people can get the help they need. And it's not always possible, you know. Some people are going to go undiagnosed. They just are. There won't be the right person in their ear. They won't have the right support system. And they'll just bury it and they'll hide it. And they won't want anybody to know what they're going through. And boom, things like this happen. If you could please hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button so you get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that'd be amazing. And there's a PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. So, Vincent Li, man's on road, apparently doing his thing, living his best life. And sorry to Timothy Richard McLean, aka T, and his mom, who is an advocate against this man getting out, or a lot of people under the same circumstances because of reoffending, and it happens all the time. And she has a website. It's www.timslaw.ca. She just highlights cases where people who are let out, like this man after 6 years by reason of insanity, where they eventually, you know, come off their meds or whatever, and they eventually fall off the wheel and they reoffend. Now, I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm not sure putting all these people just in the system forever is a great thing. But clearly something is wrong if something like that can happen. So RIP to Timothy McLean, because that's a horrible thing for anybody to have to go through that. The story's just crazy all around, man. It's crazy all around. I couldn't imagine being on that bus, what you would see day after day after day for the rest of your life. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So anyways, I'm happy to be back. More videos coming, more lives coming. Love each and every one of you. The new Matt Clark.